Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm going to wait just a moment, see if anybody jumps on with me. I'm just kind of springing this live video on last minute, but I wanted to share an important tip. Hi, Jackie. An important tip with all of you when we talk about our ascension and our awakening process. I have been going to be sharing quite a bit of different tips throughout this week with you, to kind of help you get into this mindset of self-love during this time, because self-love is super important. And in order to continue to ascend and awaken and expand, we have to love ourselves. We have to develop that connection with ourselves in order to continue to ascend and expand and ascend. So, hi, Kelsey. So as we experience, I'm just going to read this because I found this quote to be so amazing. So as we experience oneness and wholeness, we realize that we cannot love other people, animals, nature, the entire planet if we don't love ourselves first. So learning unconditional love means learning unconditional love for ourselves. So in order to unconditionally love others, to experience that oneness and wholeness that we are all gravitating towards, is self-love. So we must connect deeper within ourselves. So during the ascension and awakening process, you're going to be experiencing a lot of different moments that make us feel uncomfortable. We may feel anxious or depressed, or we may feel like we just really don't know which way to go. And that is because we're being pulled in all of these different directions. We're being pulled in, what do we believe in? Our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions are really creating a lot of turmoil within ourselves and within the collective. So I already actually shared this today, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about it with a live video. So one of the tools that we need to do in order to connect to ourselves more and to love ourselves more is observe. So again, I posted this morning, but it says our power as spiritual beings lies in realizing that we are not our emotions and our behavior. Emotions are temporary states that can be triggered by external or internal causes. Either way, observing the temporary emotions and avoiding any emotional reactions is liberating for our heart. So that is one tip, one tool to deepen that connection to your self-love, is to learn how to observe. So if you're a person that is easily triggered by external forces, and you're really people kind of classify you as an emotional being or an emotional person, or another word for that is empathetic or empathic, right? Because we're feeling so many different emotions right now. One of the ways that you can learn how to love yourself more is to just observe what is happening instead of allowing yourself to become the emotion. Can you take a step back and look at the emotion and look to see why you are being triggered in the first place? Is it something that is going on within you? Is it something that is an external trigger? And see why it is that you are all of a sudden feeling the emotion. So an example is, all of a sudden you are scrolling through social media or you're watching the news, and all of a sudden you're triggered with a lot of different anger and frustration. One of the biggest things right now is the human sex trafficking, pedophilia, and all of a sudden you're feeling all of this anger inside of you, and all of a sudden it just comes comes on out of nowhere. Like before you even looked at social media or before you turned on the news, you were really great, you were grounded, you were feeling connected, but now all of a sudden you're feeling really triggered. I want you to observe the emotion. I want you to just tell yourself, okay, now all of a sudden I'm feeling frustrated, angry. Why is it? Okay, how can I just look at the emotion instead of absorbing it and taking it in and creating it as my own? because I understand that there's a lot of different things happening within our country right now, within the collective energy. A lot of different things are triggering us, okay? But what's powerful in your ascension and awakening process is not becoming that emotion. It's simply to just observe it. You might want to allow it to just kind of come through you, okay? And that's okay. You can just feel frustrated and angry in that moment. But then how are you, and this is something we talked about last week and the week before, is then how can we alchemize that energy or that emotion or thought so that we can shift it into something new? Because the more we hold on to it, the more that we become that emotion, we're doing more disservice for the collective and for ourselves. It's holding us back from fully experiencing the ascension process. Now, of course, that's not to say you cannot feel it, because feeling it is one thing, observing it is one thing, but embodying it and becoming it and holding that denser consciousness within you, that's when it becomes more of that disservice. So become it for a little bit if you need to, allow it to pass through you, but then shift it, okay? And so that's what I'm kind of talking about here, is it's important to observe it. It's important to take a stance in what's happening instead of completely ignoring it altogether, because the energy, as light workers, as way showers, as these beautiful beings that we all are, we are here to help this ascension process. Okay, so that's why it's important to observe it and allow it, but try your hardest to not become it. And it's super tricky right now. And it takes a lot of dedication to yourself to allow this process to occur. So that is one tip I have for you today. Observe, observe, observe. I want you to grab your journal and pen, and I want you to reflect on an emotion or a thought that has been circulating through you or that keeps presenting itself to you lately. And the reason why I was using that example of the pedophilia and the child sex trafficking is because that's one of the consciousnesses that's corrupting right now, as we all know. And I sat on my deck 2 weeks ago and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I knew that I observed it first, and then I allowed myself to, and I get teary-eyed just talking about it because it's super intense, right? But I allowed myself to observe. I allowed the energy to pass through me. I feel like I'm still processing it, and that's okay. But I'm not becoming the emotion of it, okay? So this is also a great opportunity for you to just take a look at what's happening around you within your own self. Observe the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings. Dismantle it. Speak your truth about it. Okay? Because when you do that, that's an act of self-love. Okay? That's an act of self-love, because you are allowing yourself to process it so that you can continue to ascend and awaken into your divine consciousness. So this is just one of those not easy, I shouldn't say easy. This is one of those things that you get to do for yourself on this journey. And this leads me right into my expanding your divine self, which starts on Sunday. This is one of the tips and tools that we are going to be working on. There's going to be a lot of different things that I share this week, kind of leading up to that, the start of that, which is on Sunday. But this is huge. It's a 5-week program of you looking at your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your stories, your blockages, and kind of starting to break them down. So it's really time for you to do that inner work with the support of an amazing group, with the support of myself and your guides and angels. So we're going to work together to look at those systems that are no longer serving you so that you can continue to expand and ascend and align yourself into your divine self. So if this is something that you are like, hell yeah, I'm ready for this. I don't want to feel angry and frustrated at what's happening in the world, but I want to understand it and I want to step more into my power of who I truly am, then this program is for you. So today I want you to observe. And if you feel so inclined, come back and comment on this video, or comment now and just say, hey, this is what I've been observing. This is an emotion that I've been feeling lately, and I'm starting to see it from a higher perspective as to why I'm feeling it. And I want to alchemize it. Okay, so I've had a lot of clients lately that feel like their inner peace has been taken away from them because of what's happening on a larger scale. And in order to gain that sense of inner peace back, we have to feel, we have to observe, we have to do the work instead of just becoming frustrated and angry and then carrying that through. That's not going to help you expand in this ascension process. So we need to alchemize those denser consciousnesses so that you can continue to expand and raise your vibration and create what it is that you are here to create. So if you feel inclined to share with the group, I would love to hear that. If you want to email me, or message me, I'd love to hear what you've been observing. And just take note over the next 24 hours of what comes in. What emotions, thoughts, triggers are happening. Are they internal? Are they external? Okay, so I know that my frustrations and my deep-rooted emotions about what's happening, like I've already mentioned, is because I'm observing it. But then what do? I send love and light, and I speak my truth, and I'm getting there. It takes work, it takes conscious effort every single day. But you are all here to do this, and I love you all. Observe, observe, observe. Feel free to share. And that's all I have for you today. If you have questions about the Expanding Your Divine Self program, I'd love to hear. I would love for you to join. Again, it's a 5-week program. Every Sunday you get the content, and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, we will be meeting over Zoom to go over the content. So I'm super excited. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be talking to you all soon. Bye.